Wednesday, November 29th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including video of a car fire rescue and much more. Frank Granito has your forecast and later on a Nutmeg Sports update, and Donna Lang will join us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, in an update on a story we brought you yesterday, Stratford police have a warrant for another man in connection to the armed robbery and shooting at a Main Street business earlier this month. Now, yesterday, police arrested 33-year-old Eric Chambers of Bridgeport for first-degree robbery in connection to that crime that led to a bartender being shot and seriously injured. Now, we know now that police have issued an arrest warrant for 27-year-old Jakeem Brown of Bridgeport. Now, Brown is wanted as a suspect in that bar shooting on several charges, including robbery, assault, first-degree threatening, as well as criminal possession of ammunition and carrying a pistol without a permit. Now, Brown was previously arrested November 16th in Bridgeport after he allegedly robbed a shoe store in Bridgeport and exchanged gunfire with police. Now, he was taken into custody and sustained a non-life-threatening injury. Bridgeport police recovered nearly $1,900 in cash, a gun, a shell casing, and a mask. Now, according to state court records, Brown is facing a dozen charges from that Bridgeport incident, including attempted murder and second-degree threatening. According to state court records, he's being held on a $1.25 million bond. And lanes of I-84 East in Danbury were closed around 9 a.m. this morning after a car rolled over into a center median and down into an embankment. Now, state police shared some photos from the scene, as you can see there. Thankfully, only minor injuries were reported, and police say the DOT and Danbury Fire Department were on the scene. And in other news, Connecticut state troopers and passers-by rescued a New York man from a burning car on I-84 in Middlebury Monday afternoon. Police shared dash cam video of that rescue. Now, Sergeant Dogley of Troop G in Bridgeport was actually traveling westbound in the area of Exit 17 on his way home from training and quickly arrived at the crash and car fire. Now, he was met by passers-by who were attempting to remove a trapped operator from that car. Well, the sergeant used the fire extinguisher from his cruiser to put out the fire. However, it continued, and passerbys attempted to free the operator. Two other state troopers arrived on the scene a short time later and were able to help that sergeant and passersby free that trapped man. Now, once freed, troopers carried the operator to safety, and the 26-year-old New York man was transported to the hospital for evaluation of minor injuries. Two troopers sustained minor cuts to their hands from the broken window. And Milford police are looking for a laundromat bandit. On November 23rd at about 5 p.m., a man broke into the office of the Sock Hop Laundromat, located at 548 Naugatuck Avenue in Milford, during regular business hours. Now, the suspect forced the door open and stole a computer monitor and a toolbox with miscellaneous tools inside. Now, the Milford Police Department is looking for help identifying that suspect. Anyone with information is asked to contact police at 203-783-4798. And in an update on a story we brought you earlier this week, complaints of Norwalk residents have been heard by an ABC sitcom. Hearst, Connecticut media reports that the ABC television show American Housewife, which has been criticized for distasteful jokes about the city of Norwalk, will no longer reference the city in future episodes. That, according to a statement released by the show's producers on Tuesday evening. Now, a Disney spokesman said in part, as a comedy, American Housewife isn't intended to offend anyone. They said, we've heard the concerns of the people of Norwalk and have made the decision to omit any mentions of the city from future episodes. Now, American Housewife takes place in Westport. Now, as we mentioned earlier this week, State Senate Majority Leader Bob Duff joined the public outcry criticizing jokes, specifically those directed at Norwalk teens, including an episode where a character wears a baby bump under a dress, saying she's going out for Halloween as a Norwalk prom girl. And in other news, the public outrage over the illegal bow and arrow killing of 2 black bears in the Wilton Woods of Indian Rock Place on September 16th will resurface tomorrow, Thursday at 9:30 a.m. outside the State Superior Court in Norwalk. That is the date of a planned protest outside that courthouse. Now, the court appearance was originally scheduled for September 28th, but got postponed to October and then November 30th. Now, in the September 16th case, the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection received an anonymous report that an archery hunter had illegally shot and killed 2 black bears on private property in Wilton. Encon police say 28-year-old Antonio Leo of Wilton was seen exiting the woods, allegedly carrying a bearskin head and paws in his backpack. He was accompanied by a second person, 33-year-old Daniel Moran of Norwalk. Now, Leo allegedly said he shot a bear as it was walking under a tree stand. Leo further admitted that he shot and killed a second bear that approached him while he was checking on the first deceased bear. Now, Moran assisted Leo in retrieving those bears. Leo did not have a valid 2017 hunting license or archery permit, and hunting of black bears is illegal in Connecticut. Now, Eleanor Sasso of the Bear Rally Committee in Wilton said the protesters are seeking stiffer penalties for poaching and trophy hunting in the state. All right, taking a turn now, going to throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at your forecast. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. And after a cold Tuesday night, we're looking at a warmer day today, an expected high of around 58 degrees. Plenty of sunshine during the day, and we'll see wind gusts starting to increase to around 30 miles per hour later on this afternoon. Mostly clear overnight and cooler out as temperatures fall down into the mid-20s. A little bit colder tomorrow, an expected high of only 42 degrees, but a mix of sun and clouds in the early part of the day before increasing cloud cover later tomorrow afternoon. Overcast skies and a low of 38, and there is a chance for some passing showers heading into Friday morning. Early morning cloud cover should make way for some afternoon sunshine on Friday, with temperatures back up into the low 50s. That afternoon sunshine is going to lead to clear skies overnight and cooler conditions with a low of 26. That'll do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Ang will give us a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news after this.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Whether you're looking for a great test prep program, tutoring to boost your grades, or a blast-off tour with the college of your dreams, C2 Education is here to help. There is nothing one-size-fits-all about our programs. We offer customized tutoring and test prep for each student. Call us today at 203-423-3328.
At Rings End, we say it's time to re-love your home. Time to refresh and reinvigorate the way you live. And whether you're redoing something big or small, remember the letters RE stand for Rings End. We're the new model in home remodeling.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
My advice to an 8th grader would be to really investigate all that prep has to offer for you.
Welcome to Prep! Fairfield Prep is announcing an additional exam date of Saturday, December 2nd. Register today at fairfieldprep.org.
Welcome back to this November 29th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. It's time to throw it over to Donald Ang to get a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, it was a seismic shift for the Generation Xers, but we'll get to that in a second. First, though, we go all the way back to 1890. The first Army-Navy game takes place on the parade fields there at West Point. Navy, who'd been playing football for 11 years, beat Army 24-0 in that inaugural game. One of only 4 games in the series to actually be played on one of the team's home fields. Going into the 2017 game this year, Navy has won 60 of the 117 games, Army 50. There have been 7 ties in the series. 1929 now, Richard Byrd leads the first expedition to fly over the South Pole. The flight took 18 hours, and the crew had to dump the plane's empty fuel tanks and emergency supplies, because you might not know this, but the South Pole is actually twice as high as Denver, Colorado, about 10,000 feet. It's called the Polar Plateau. Byrd was promoted to Rear Admiral for the flight, the youngest in U.S. history, and also one of only 4 men to be promoted to Admiral without ever having been a captain. 1991 now, a sudden dust storm blows up on a stretch of Interstate 5 near Bakersfield, California, reducing visibility to 0 and resulting in a massive traffic accident involving 164 vehicles, including 4 tractor trailers. The wreckage was strewn for about a mile. About 13 fatalities in the crash, nearly 200 serious injuries. Some of these seriously injured were trapped in their cars for more than a day as rescuers worked their way to them. It remains the largest car crash in U.S. history in terms of vehicles involved. Finally, now we go to 1972, the dawn of an era for this.
Nolan Bushnell and I worked at Ampex up in Redwood City in electronics on video recording stuff. And they were having some financial problems, and Nolan always had this idea in the back of his head that he could take a computer game, the Space War game from Steve Russell, and make a coin-operated game like pinball machine out of it and make some money. And so that was his intent. And he had done previously Computer Space at Nutting Associates, which didn't do too well. We then started our own company called Atari, originally Syzygy, and he asked me to do a very, very simple game, ping pong game on a TV screen, one moving spot.
Yes, that was Super Patriot Al Alcorn, one of the founders of Atari, talking about creating Pong, the first commercially successful video game. Now, if you didn't grow up in the 1980s, you have no idea just how big Atari was. It might have been the single most important word for anyone who was a child in the 1980s. It all started with a buzzy, monochrome ping pong game. As you look back in history for today, November 29th, and I'm Donald Ding.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, what started as a normal day on the job for the Shelton Library delivery workers quickly went up in flames recently. Now, every 2 weeks, Bob Antamarian, the Plum Memorial Reference Librarian, and John Sembrandt, a library page, drive the Shelton Library homebound van to take books to shut-ins and convalescent homes throughout the community as part of their homebound delivery service. Well, as you can see in that photo earlier this month, both Antamarian and Sembrandt began their delivery day as they normally would before their van went up in flames. Now, the two operators of the delivery van had made several of their drop-offs to homes when they noticed smoke seeping through the van's ventilation system. Antamarian said after seeing the smoke, they pulled over and parked in the Wesley Heights Assisted Living parking lot to provide the van some time to cool down. Well, the issue grew worse and flames began shooting out of the hood of that car. Now, Sembrandt said he extracted 4 bags of books from the back of that smoking van, approximately 40 books in total. Now, the fire department responded to put out that blaze, which completely destroyed the car. Now, officials say the city is currently searching for a city vehicle that's not being used that would fit the library staff's needs. And you can get more on that story at sheltonherald.com. And former Republican State Representative John Shaben announced Tuesday his intention to form a candidate committee to run for Connecticut Attorney General. Now, Shaben will be filing paperwork with the State Elections Enforcement Commission and has already spoken with most of the Republican gubernatorial candidates and the Republican Attorneys General Association about his plans. Now, Attorney General George Jepsen, a Democrat, announced Monday he will not be seeking re-election in 2018. Shaben said in a release that Connecticut's economy continues to underperform. He said, starving our citizens of the promise and prosperity they deserve. Shaben went on to say the Attorney General can help by easing barriers to success for businesses and individuals. Shaben represented the 135th District, which includes Easton, Weston, and Reading. Now, he was also the Republican Party and independent candidate in Connecticut's 4th Congressional District in 2016, losing to the Democratic incumbent, U.S. Representative Jim Himes. And on Tuesday, Milford's representatives in Hartford and Mayor Ben Blake gathered at Silver Sand State Park and called on members of the State Bond Commission to vote no on bonding for a construction project at the park. Now, hundreds of Milford residents have spoken out against this project, expressing concern with the high cost of the build-out, that the project is based on an outdated environmental impact evaluation and is underestimating the damage that the construction will have on local plants and wildlife. Now, the State Bond Commission is expected to vote on whether or not to approve over $9 million in state bonding for Silver Sands when it meets today at the Legislative Office Building in Hartford. Now, this funding is to be used in the construction of a bathhouse building, lifeguard and staff office, concession building, and a maintenance facility. Now, according to State Senator Gail Schlossberg, nobody wants this project and the state of Connecticut cannot afford it. Schlossberg said that that money would be better spent on education, social services, or other infrastructure. And there's more on that story at milfordmirror.com. All right, but we're going to throw it back over to Frank Granito now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. And last night, the HA Network was live at Cardinal Stadium for the start of the state football tournament. Number 1 Greenwich, number 8 Fairfield Prep in Class LL. And it was all Cardinals right from the start, scoring just 36 seconds into this game when Gavin Muir hooked up with Jeremiah Harris. That would be the first of 2 times these two got together. Tyson Camizio would also add a rushing touchdown late in the 4th quarter, and Zach Moore tacked on 2 field goals as Greenwich cruised to a 27-6 victory over the Jesuits. Here's a look at the highlights from last night.
As Muir and the offense take to the field for the first time, wouldn't be surprised, John, if we saw the Cardinals maybe try to take a shot here early on. They shift some men around out of the empty set.
No movement with the motion or a shift.
As Muir now trying to loft one over the middle, and he's got a man on the first play of the game. Stephen Bennett out of the slot was wide open in the middle of the field. And just like that, John, a huge hitter for the Cardinals. Staying in the empty set again. Here alone in the backfield. Takes the snap. Once again lofting one downfield. Harris wide open, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown.
Both those plays, 2 things happened. Your receiver got out of the slot. Nobody picked him up. But number 2, that Greenwich line kept Muir clean and gave him all kinds of time, particularly on that second pass.
Back into a more traditional personnel set. It's a 10 personnel look with 1 back, 4 receivers. Stepping up, heading for the end zone and in for the touchdown. Will Lucas has the Jesuits within a point. His long on the season is 43. This one from 41. Snap, the hold, the kick are good.
I think he had that from 45 or 46.
2nd and goal. This time they do go to Camizio. He's heading for the end zone, and it's a Cardinal touchdown.
A fired up Greenwich coaching staff, and if a guy deserves a touchdown tonight, it's Tyson Camizio.
It falls on to the Fairfield Prep defense. Muir in the gun, flanked by Camizio, as he's going to drop back to pass. Taking a shot over the middle. He's got Harris wide open. Touchdown, Cardinals.
Just in case you forgot that Greenwich bases a lot of what they do on the pass, they'll remind you.
Greenwich advancing on to the semifinals. They'll take on number 4 South Windsor now, who defeated Naugatuck 35-13 on the other side of the Class LL bracket. West Haven knocked off Shelton 46-7. They'll travel to Darien on Sunday as the Blue Wave rolled past East Hartford 30-10 with Jack Joyce back at quarterback. In Class L, New Canaan pulls the upset over number 1 Middletown 24-9. They now take on Massac, who defeated Fitch 43-7. And our last FCAC score for you out of the first round, St. Joseph 62-0 over O'Brien Tech in Class S. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports Update. Join us at 2 o'clock. Myself, John Kovach, Kevin Coleman will break down the first round of the tournament and get you ready for the semifinals. For now, though, back to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following today after this.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to coastalorthoct.com. Like them on Facebook.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And now, during our Black Friday sales event, Get 0% APR financing for up to 72 months, plus $1,000 retail bonus cash on select 2017 Ram 1500s. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Ridgefield, PambyZone.com.
The leaves are changing, water temps dropping, and the sun is setting a little earlier each day. But there's still a lot of great boating, fishing, and coast time left before we see the first snow. And above all, remember, it's always summer at the Dock Shop. With loads of new fishing tackle and accessories, clothing, jewelry, and home decor, the Dock Shop is just what you need when you start to feel that New England autumn chill. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
CT City Lacrosse is dedicated to helping youth and high school players reach their full potential. Director Mike Nazaro, head lacrosse coach at Stanford High School, is holding boys and girls indoor winter clinics for the 2017-2018 season at Bobby Valentine's Sports Academy in Stanford. Find out more and sign up at ctcitylax.com. CT City.
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, bringing you some of the top stories we're following today. Now, in an update on a story we brought you yesterday, Stratford police have a warrant for another man in connection to the armed robbery and shooting at a Main Street business earlier this month. Yesterday, police arrested 33-year-old Eric Chambers of Bridgeport for first-degree robbery in connection to that crime, which led to a bartender being shot and seriously injured. Now, we know that police have issued an arrest warrant for 27-year-old Jakeem Brown of Bridgeport. Now, Brown is wanted as a suspect in that shooting and on several charges, including first-degree robbery, assault, threatening, as well as criminal possession of ammunition and carrying a pistol without a permit. Now, Brown was previously arrested on November 16th, a day after that robbery in Bridgeport, after he allegedly robbed a shoe store and exchanged gunfire with police. Now, Brown was taken into custody and sustained non-life-threatening injury. Bridgeport police recovered nearly $1,900 in cash, a gun, shell casing, and a mask. Now, according to state court records, Brown is facing a dozen charges from the Bridgeport incident, including 2 counts of attempted murder and threatening. Now, according to state records, Brown is being held on a $1.25 million bond. And lanes of I-84 East in Danbury were closed around 9 a.m. this morning after a car rolled over into the center median and down an embankment. State police shared a photo from the scene. Now, thankfully, only minor injuries were reported, and the DOT and Danbury Fire Department were on the scene. And Connecticut state troopers and passers-by rescued a New York man from a burning car on I-84 in Middlebury Monday afternoon. Police shared dashcam video of the rescue this week. Now, Sergeant Dog Alley of Troop G in Bridgeport was actually traveling in that area on his way home from training and arrived at the crash and car fire. He was met by passers-by who were attempting to remove the trapped driver from the car. Now, the sergeant used the fire extinguisher from his cruiser to put out that blaze. However, the fire continued as they attempted to free that driver. Now, 2 other troopers arrived on the scene a short time later and were able to help them free the driver. Now, once freed, troopers carried that operator to safety, and the 26-year-old New York operator was transported to the hospital for evaluation of minor injuries. Now, 2 troopers sustained minor cuts to their hands from a broken window. And Milford police are looking for a laundromat bandit. On November 23rd at about 5 p.m., a man broke into the office of the Sock Hop Laundromat located at 548 Naugatuck Avenue during regular business hours. Now, the suspect forced the door open and stole a computer monitor and a toolbox with miscellaneous tools inside. Now, the Milford Police Department is looking for help identifying that suspect, and they're asking anyone with information to contact them at 203-783-4798. And in an update on a story we brought you earlier this week, complaints of Norwalk residents have been heard by an ABC sitcom. Hearst, Connecticut media reports that the ABC television show American Housewife, which has been criticized for distasteful jokes about the city of Norwalk, will no longer reference the city in future episodes. That, according to a statement released by the show's producers on Tuesday. Now, a Disney spokesperson said, as a comedy, American Housewife isn't intended to offend anyone. They said, "We've heard the concerns of the people in Norwalk and have made the decision decision to omit any mentions of the city from future episodes. As we mentioned earlier this week, State Senate Majority Leader Bob Duff joined the public outcry criticizing jokes, specifically those directed at Norwalk teens, including a Halloween episode where a character wears a baby bump under a dress, saying she's going out as a Norwalk prom girl. All right, let's switch gears, take one final look at your forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
Okay, thank you, Kate. And again, we're looking at a warmer day. Temperatures up around 58 degrees. Plenty of sunshine during the day, and wind is going to increase later on, gusts around 30 miles per hour. Mostly clear overnight, cooler with temperatures falling down to the mid-20s. Colder out tomorrow, an expected high of only 42 degrees. A mix of sun and clouds early on in the day, but we will see increasing cloud cover in the late afternoon. Overcast skies and a low of 38 tomorrow night. Could see a possible passing shower or two as well. Heading into Friday morning, an early morning cloud cover on Friday will clear for some afternoon sunshine. Temperatures reaching back into the low 50s. That sunshine going to lead to clear skies overnight and colder out with a low of 26 to start the weekend. That'll do it for this weather update. We're back at 2 o'clock for Nutmeg Sports. For now, though, send it over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. Nutmeg Sports coming up at 2 o'clock, and we'll see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11. Have a great day.